Let's just stop the comparison once and for all. Well, historically speaking, our need to compare ourselves to other people, other human beings, is just based on survival instincts. Well, in those times, in the old ages, people had to assess threats, they had to navigate group dynamics, they had to understand how do they survive in a society, in the group that they had. So basically it's got nothing to do with how it manifests in this modern day and age. Now those survival instincts could really manifest in unhealthy ways when it comes to this modern day age society. So what you need to do is you need to dissociate and detach from those survival instincts, in the sense that so that you understand that is comparison really a good thing? Like, is comparison invoking feelings that are good for you? Is that helping you and motivating you to become a better version of you? Or it's just your way to make yourself even more insecure? All you need to understand is you cannot let comparison become a factor when it comes to dictating your self-worth, because your self-worth should come from something that you have within yourself, the confidence that you've built within yourself, the ecosystem of the confidence, the self-worth, the self-love that you have within yourself. Everything about self should come from within yourself and not you having to compare yourself to anyone else or anything else. Again, a very, very, very big important point here is constantly having to compare yourself to other people, whether that be your friends, your colleagues, your mentors, and constantly having to look up to these unrealistic standards that society has sometimes, which we are all aware of, where you feel like you need to have your life figured out by the age of 25, you need to have a house and a car by the age of 30. Like, given the modern day and age that we live in, tell me, how realistically possible is that? I don't think that's that possible. And just the fact that you have that kind of a standard for yourself, just that you have set such unrealistic expectations on yourself, could be not just leaning to burnout, but that also could lean into you feeling inadequate, you feeling low self esteem, you feeling jealousy. When you see other people have those things, of course there are exceptions. Of course there are business owners who are 20 years old and they've achieved everything in life. Of course there are exceptions in every case scenario. But is that a norm? Is that something that is abundantly normal? That's something you need to figure out. Now, just by the fact that you've simply figured this out, your mental peace is going to be at a much better level as compared to anything else. You need to take care of your mental well-being. You can't be putting yourself through burnout sessions or feeling inadequate or judging yourself, being too harsh and too critical on yourself just because you haven't achieved a particular set goal in the set time set by society, on top of that, not even by you. So it's very important for you to have your own set time limits. And again, those time limits need to be flexible, because again, when you look at time is not really linear. Okay, time was created by men to understand and to keep a track of the day and night situation. However, does not mean you have to depend on the set amount of time to be able to achieve all of the goals that you have in mind. You have time, and it's okay to relax while pursuing your goals, while working towards your goals. You don't have to burn yourself out. You have to judge and criticize yourself. You don't have to go into a negative spiral. You have to go into an upward spiral. You have to constantly keep that in mind. So whenever you're working towards your goals, they should feel like, a breath of fresh air, like a morning walk, like a breeze on a hot day. Like, that's what it should feel like, where you're like, I'm working towards something that I feel so passionate about, that I feel so good about, that makes me feel so good. It brings me so much joy, so much peace, so much happiness, that you know what? I'm going to keep pursuing it. No matter how long it takes, I'm going to get there and I'm going to do it right. So even when you're in the right mind space, when you're in the right headspace mentally, it allows you to pursue your goals even better as compared to if you were coming from a bad headspace, where if you're in a negative headspace, you know what? It's just going to take you down a rabbit hole that you don't want to go into. So just keep your mental well-being in check. Everything else will fall into place. Now, again, you need to differentiate what things look like to society and what things look like to you. People don't even perceive colors the same way, okay? What looks red to you may be wine red to me, maybe maroon to me. It's just Normal people don't perceive color the same. Normal people don't perceive conversations the same. If you read a book and if I read a book, maybe the moral of the story for both of us could be very different. We don't even perceive the book that we read the same. So all I'm saying is society has some effed up systems and effed up normals which are not normal at all. Okay, you need to realize, you need to understand what is normal to you, what feels good to you, what feels right for you to do in your gut, and you know it. You've actually just been you've suppressed that feeling so far down that you know what, it's pushing to come back up. What you need to have is the audacity to embrace that feeling. First of all, you need to bring that audacity in your body where you're like, you know what, I'm okay with being this way. I'm not a morning person, it's fine. I like to work through the night, it's fine. You've figured yourself out, you've done a very good job. If you can do 1K steps a day and not 10K, it's fine. You figured yourself out. That's what works the best for you. That's what's something sustainable for you. That's what you need to understand, that you know what, it's not what society. You have to look at society not in a bad way. You have to look at them as inspiration. And that's what society is saying, that okay, fine, you know what, that's something that works for them. Now I'm going to look at that as inspiration, and I'm going to take some notes and make that stuff fit for me and work for me in the way that it benefits me and in the way that it fits my life perfectly. Again, being on a journey of self-development and personal growth is very, very, very important. Hashtag, I'm not trying to promote my channel, but hey, you know what? It is what it is, okay? The thing is, personal growth and self-development comes from a place where you're like, I value myself, I love myself. And you know what? I'm going to do this for myself, by myself. That means you already have some sufficient amount of self-love going on in your system, where you thought that making this decision and going down the path of self-development and self-improvement is important for you. And now when you stick to that journey, you not only become consistent, efficient, more productive, but that is actually rooted, that becomes the root of not having to compare yourself to anyone or anything else. Because again, this is again rooted, deeply rooted in the fact that you know yourself, you love yourself, you accept yourself for who you are. Okay, you acknowledge your flaws, you acknowledge your imperfections, you acknowledge everything that is good about you, everything that is amazing about you, you acknowledge the person that you're becoming with everything else. Okay, you love things the way you do it. Like, you love to do things the way you do it. You love what you do, you enjoy what you do, and you make the most out of it, in the sense that you know what, nothing else, nobody else's opinions, or nothing else and nobody else and what they're doing really matters to you, because you know what, you're on a different journey. You actually understand that you have your own journey to fulfill. You have your own path to live. Why are you living their life? They're already living their life. Why are you doing the same thing? But don't do that. Just don't do that, okay? Just absolutely, that is ridiculous. Don't do that. They're already doing it, and that's something that works for them. Or you can look up to them and be like, you know what, I take inspiration from you. You're going to take a few pointers, something that suits you. If not, you can use them as a source of motivation. Look at them and how they're chasing their life the same way I'm going to look at me and I'm going to chase my life, my dreams, my goals, my ambitions, the things I want to do, the things that matter to me, the people that matter to me. That's all you're going to focus on. It's all going to be about you and your life. Stopping comparison is literally one mindset shift away. You literally have to go from the mindset of having to compare yourself to having to accept yourself, which is a lot more easier. Okay, it's a lot more easier because your life just falls into place. Why are you even comparing yourself? The thing is, okay, statistically speaking, there are 7 people who look like you, but do you even know if they're alive? Do you even know if they're in the same country, let alone the same place, doing the same exact thing that you're doing? So literally, there is no comparison. Comparison and competition, it comes between two people on two categories which are very similar. Actually, not similar, they're the same. So that means they actually can fit into that. So no. See, comparison comes from a place where you're feeling insecure, inferior, where you're feeling weird about yourself in a way. It's a very negative mindset to be in, because I don't know, it's brought about by the fact that you're in a lack mindset. in a sense, where you're always wanting things, where you're always chasing things, where you're always like, oh, I want this, I want to do this, oh, I want to be this person. Instead of having an abundance mindset, instead of having a mindset where, you know what, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to figure it out no matter how long it takes, and it's my life. Having that sense of self-confidence and that sense of self-worth within yourself, where you know what, you don't really need to compare yourself to anyone, where you don't need to look at anyone, look up to anyone, or take inspiration from anyone. If that's something you don't want to do, don't do it. Absolutely not. You can be your own muse. Your life is your own muse. Make it your own. Live your life on your own terms. And now again, you'll be like, this is easier said than done. No, it's easier done than said, actually. The more you're in your own zone, the more you vibrate higher. And the more your frequency is on that level, the more you attract things that are in alignment with you. You guys are missing things that are in alignment with you. You guys are missing things that are meant for you, because you're trying to compare yourself to somebody else, because you're trying to be somebody else. That person is that person, and that person has their own blessings, but so do you. So do you. You need to put yourself back up on that pedestal where you're like, it's me, it's my life, I can do whatever I want with it. And you have to have an abundance and positive mindset no matter what. People, life is too short for that negative bullshit. Life is too short for all of that. Make it the most positive, the most uplifting, the most enriching, soul nourishing experience, so that, you know what, when you're gone, you either leave a legacy behind, or you have amazing memories and amazing stories that people tell about you. But the point is, you need to make it your own, and you need to live your life in the sense that, you know what, it brings you joy and fulfillment. You don't have to look anywhere else. Like, literally just focus on your life. At this point, I'm not going to reinstate this, but don't let social media fool you into believing that somebody else is living a better life than you. People only share what they want to share. People only share the good stuff of their life. By the way, they don't share anything else. So that means, the point being, that that's not real. What you see on social media is very highly edited. It's very pleasing for the eyes. It's a distraction tool. It's an entertainment, basically. It's nothing else. So when you're feeling bored, when you're tired, when you're feeling a little lethargic, where you're like, you know, I need to get some entertainment and I need some dopamine, go onto social media, and you know what, your brain will get the dopamine that it needs. But other than that, if you're actually sitting on social media and comparing your life to somebody's that you see on the internet, oh my god, oh my god, I'm sitting here and I'm judging you through this camera, because what are you doing? That's not real. That is not real. None of that is real. It's for entertainment purposes. Some things are for educational purposes. Some things are for motivational purposes. Some things are just out there to provoke and invoke some sort of feeling in you, to bring about an emotion in you. You need to understand how social media works these days. People don't post real stuff sometimes. Some people do, but some people don't, and it's fine. You don't have to look up to it for inspiration or motivation or anything. If that's just bringing you down, if that's just making you feel insecure, that's just forcing you to compare yourself to somebody online, but it's just making your life more miserable. Just don't do that. Don't do it. Don't do it at all. Just look up to yourself. And of course, you know what? If you've lived this long, that means you have a bunch of achievements. That means you've done some things right. That means you have lived a life. You have life experiences. You need to go back and reflect on those, because they are going to bring more value, and they're going to add a lot more experience and knowledge into your life as compared to anything else. And that will actually help you excel and propel in the direction of your dreams. That is your dream life. Nothing else and nobody else will. These are all distractions. Let me tell you that is all just one big distraction. One big distraction. Unless it's giving you the tools to succeed in your life, it is a distraction. Let it go. You're too old for that shit. Now again, a little on the soft note, if you're really struggling to build that kind of sense of self-worth within yourself, where you really lack that sense of self-worth, where you really don't see the beauty in you, where you're just in a very negative space, don't worry, I got you. I got you. The first and the foremost thing you're going to do is you're going to make promises to yourself, and you're going to keep those promises to yourself. You know what that's going to do? That's going to foster a very strong belief within yourself. That's going to foster a very strong relationship with yourself. The only problem here is you lack relationship with yourself. You lack a strong relationship with yourself, where you know what, you don't feel safe within your own body, you don't feel safe within your own mind, you don't feel safe expressing yourself, you don't feel safe, just trying to be yourself, because somewhere down the line you were suppressed and people made fun of you or whatnot. You heard certain things that affected you, it triggered you, and it kind of asked you to shut certain areas of your life down, where you don't feel like, you know what, I can't accept myself for who I am. Those blocks, even though they may seem unrelated, but they are very much related to you growing up and just leveling up, because you need to unblock yourself totally. One thing I've learned from this amount of years that I've been alive is you have to be unhinged. Not in a mad way, not in a crazy way, but just unhinged about yourself and areas of your life, because you can't hide yourself. You can't hide yourself. When you really want to be successful, when you really want to attract the things that you want to attract into your life, you can't hide parts of yourself and expect to attract that thing. Where you're like, oh, I'm a talented singer, but I don't sing and I don't post online about it, but you're expecting people to approach you with opportunities. That's kind of silly. It's kind of silly. You need to accept that about yourself. You need to embrace that about yourself. Put yourself out there. Hope for the best. And you know what? The best will come. This is a given. You're going to separate yourself from people who try to bring you down in any and every aspect of your life. Or they are so stuck and so hell-bent on just one narrative of you, where you are so many other things, but they just refuse to see it. If they don't see you fully, they don't deserve to be in your life. You're too old for this shit. Cut it out. Cut it out. Just totally cut people out. Become the best version of yourself, and the right kind of people will find you, who will see you for who you are. Okay? Of course, there are some people who grow up with us. Some people we have to outgrow and we have to weed them out, because sometimes they're just probably hampering your growth more than you know. You're paying a mental tax whenever it comes to these people. When you surround yourself with people like that, you're paying a mental tax which you don't really understand, but you are, because you're lowering your vibration, you're lowering your frequency. That means you're not on the abundance, gratitude frequency anymore. You're on a different frequency. The kind of conversations that you're having with those kind of people, they're making you feel a certain way, invoking feelings that are not supposed to be there in the first place. You need to be selectively emotionally available. And by that, what I mean is you're going to be available for the feelings of joy, peace, abundance, happiness, bliss, feeling good about yourself, in your body, in your mind, in your soul. You need to feel very good about yourself in all of these aspects, okay? That's what you're going to focus on. That's how emotionally selective you're going to become. Okay, having said that, we come to the end of this brilliant video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Till then, I'm going to see you guys in my next one. Take care and bye. Money on top of me, money on top of her. Money on top of me, money on top of her. Daddy fuck with me 'cause you know